so let's talk a little bit about cutting back bolsters. So here is a bolster that is too high, and you can see we even have a little hollow here, and then we have our high part in the middle of the belly of this knife. So we go up, nice arch, start going down, a little hollow, and then we have a little high bolster here on the end. So this is not good. This needs to be cut down. The belly should come down a bit too, so we can match this up a little bit more. And a lot of people are telling me that, you know, they would like to see something on how I cut bolsters back. So I'm going to show you quickly what I like to do. So before I run the machine and do it, I'm going to show you the areas where I like to work. So I'm on the Tulker here, but it doesn't matter because it's the same thing here. We're using the same angle guide. You could do this on a Harbor Freight too. So one area you can work is you can literally rest your bolster right at the end of the workpiece, and you can kind of come up here on an angle, and you can work it this way, just in that little area, and come down and kind of round it out and take that off. And then you can come on the other side and do the same thing and kind of work in there. That's one way of doing it. On the Tulker, since you have a lot of open space, you can come down here and you can grind on that bolster this way on your bottom wheel and take that down. You can come up to the top side, up top, and you can work it up here, back and forth, and work on it that way. If I'm doing it on the Tulker, because I have all that open space. But let me just show you simply, real quick here on the Tulker. We'll start it up, and I'll show you how we take this down a little bit. And it's really simple to do. Okay, so here's the first method, which is just working right on the rest area. And you can see, I mean, that's already down. And what I like to do is just make sure I'm kind of evening it on both sides. So you can see we got that much lower than the rest of that blade already. Now, drop down to the bottom wheel. The bottom wheel is nice because you can thin. So if you wanted to thin it some, you can work on this section. But you can also do the same thing and just kind of take it down from there. And I always find if you're working on the side, you want to work at the edge of the belt. Don't work in the middle of the belt because you run the risk of hitting the blade here. You want to work right at the edge and, you know, adjust your tracking accordingly too. So you can just kind of come in here. So even after I notch down a bit, you'll see I do a little thinning. And for me, this is where I like to do my thinning, down at the bottom. So you can see I now kind of thin that out. And then if I want to arch it, if I want to work on the arch, sometimes I'll do that up on the top. For those of you with Harbor Freight models, you can work up here in the area where I have it marked with the yellow arrow. Just make sure that your machine is converted and going up and away from you. If it's not, you could turn your machine around and work in the opposite direction. You'll also notice if you see the little red arrow, that's an area that many people grind additional metal away to give them more access to that wheel area. So to clean this up, you can just go to a higher grit belt and do the same things on it. You could do it with a radial disc. You can use sandpaper and do it by hand, whatever you need to do. But you can see, I mean, that already, just that little bit of cutting back, I've already brought this down pretty good. But we still have another issue here, which is too high of a belly. So this knife needs some material removed from the middle to get that high belly out of this knife, because we are kind of on a roller coaster up and down motion here. But that's it for the bolster part. Hopefully that answers your questions real simply and in a video that's not overly too long. That's how I do it. That's the method I use to get the bolster looking nicer. I'm just going to go up in grits, or like I said, for me, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll come and polish on the dental abrasives. And I'll show you. They do a pretty good job of cleaning that bolster back up pretty fast. And that was a 220 grit. If I did an 80 grit, it would it'd be even better and even quicker. So just a couple other final thoughts. I wanted to show you the finished profile. And I also wanted to say, this is a place we're having a rubber block. So this is a rubber jeweler's block. Is a nice way to check to see that you have made the proper correction there. And you don't want to be seeing any light coming through if you have a big old hollow somewhere where that bolster's hitting. You know, if it's hitting long before the bottom of that blade, you're going to see a big hollow underneath that blade. So that can be helpful if you're making some minor corrections there. And I just have to clean up this. I cut it back and I just have to polish it a little bit. But I wanted to share that last tip with you before I ended this video. And here's the finished blade all ready to go back. Everyone, it's Paul from Alexander Knife Sharpen. So I just wanted to point a couple things out to everyone. We've had a lot of new people coming in, and whenever that happens, I get bombarded with a lot of emails and questions. So I just wanted to show some of you that may not be super familiar a couple of the things that I've done here to try and make things easier. The first thing I want to point out to you, the number one thing I get, people constantly ask me, Paul, where'd you get this or where'd you get that? If you're on my channel and you come up to this area where it says alxsharpen.com and 5 more links, if you click this, it brings you to my website, okay? And on my website, I have a For Sharpeners section, and here you will see all of the gear that I use and links to it. I try and keep this regularly updated. So here's the Toolker sharpener with multiple links of people selling it. Here's the buck tool I use. Here's the new buck tool, which looks very, very promising for knife sharpening. Here's my Tormex machines. Here are other machines that I can recommend that are variable speed. Here's the one if you want to do a Cliff Curry conversion. Here's the link to the sewing machine motors. And if you scroll down through here, you'll see I just have a ton of stuff. So these are all, this section is sharpeners that I recommend for, these are more hobbyist stuff and people that are knife collectors that want to sharpen their own stuff. Then we have our digital microscopes that I've shown in many of my videos, angle setting guides, laser engraving section. I may move this to its own page soon because we're getting a lot of stuff there. If we continue down, here's abrasives and polishing discs. These are all the things I use for polishing knives and cleaning up surfaces. And you'll see all those in here. Here are the jewelry buffers and things that I use. So there's a lot of stuff here. Different products I use. Here are the diamonds I use to make my own diamond sprays. Here's the belt splitter I've talked about many times. The magnets you see on my downdraft table. Cleaning, all the gear I use for cleaning. Here's a Vapo Rust, the stuff that I use to remove rust from things. Knife parts. I mean, there's just a lot here. Here's all the safety gear, the downdraft table, the different masks I use, stuff for static shock. Here's stuff for UV and epoxy repairs. So there's really a lot here. So this is a great resource and place to come if you are wondering about the things that I use in my shop. Like I said, I try and keep this updated. The other place to look that a lot of times people miss, they'll watch a video. And let's go back to one of the videos and I'll just show you. A lot of times people watch a video, but they don't realize that right here in this gray box where you see and more, and I'm just going to pause this video so we're not fighting the sound. If you click the more part,
So if it's a really long video, a lot of times I will try and time code it for people. But you'll see here, there's also the product links. I try and go through each one of the videos and link things that you guys are going to ask me about. And a lot of people don't know that's even there because they watch a video and they never click the and more part to expand all that. So a lot of the times I have all that there. So I just want to make you guys aware of that. Those are a great place to go take a look at stuff. Another thing, let's go back to my channel that I wanted to point out to you is, okay, on the 5 more links, here's Curry's Custom Cutlery, where I buy all my belts from. Here is Woodturner's Wonders, where I get all my CBN wheels from. Combat Abrasives, another one that I like. My shop's gear links, so the one I just showed you about, that's in here. If the 4 sharpeners section for my shop is in here, so it's another place that you can get to all this stuff. If you want to see my website for sharpening, where the shop stuff is listed there, but if you just want to see what my online presence looks like for my customers, you can go check out my website there. So that's also worth taking a look at, and that's that and 5 more links and my website right there at the top. Another great thing to check out, if you're not aware of this, I try and keep stuff in playlists, and the playlists are created to help make things a little bit easier for you guys if you're looking for a particular subject matter. So I've tried to make ones like, I have a whole section for laser engraving. Some of them are smaller ones, like here's one on stone washing knives. There's a whole section. Here's all the videos related to my 2x42 sander. Here's all the toolker videos. So if you want to see them all in one place, playlist is a great place to come. And if you click on it, you'll see then over here on the right hand side, here are all the videos that I put into this toolker 1x30 section. And that is all videos that have anything to do with the toolker sharpener. So I just wanted to point those few things out to you. I hope that helps you guys find what you're looking for. And for those of you that may not have been aware that that stuff's there, it's a little bit easier on me if you check all those areas before you send me messages or emails asking about particular things. I try and make it easy for you guys to find everything. And that's it for now. I just wanted to point that out to you, especially with all the new people coming in, because I have been getting a lot of those questions. I do appreciate the questions, but please try and check these areas first rather than send me a message saying, hey, Paul, did you do a video on this? Go take a look in the categories section. You will probably find a lot of the stuff that you're looking for. All right. Have a great day, everybody.